Okay, every brand's goal is to become a huge viral success. Hey Dude Shoes, Sydney Sweeney. The US Open, and this one is awesome. The White House, and they are going hard. But what's the thing that happens right after that? It dies. Unless it does this. Hey everyone, I'm John Timmerman, founder of Good Monster, and welcome to Marketing by John, where I talk about news and trends in the marketing industry that you probably care about if you're a marketing leader. First, we're going to talk about Hey Dude Shoes. Now, you probably know who Hey Dude Shoes is. You see them on the feet of just about everyone from teenagers all the way up to your grandpa. But the viral success of Hey Dude Shoes over the past decade is declining. They got purchased by Crocs and now sales are struggling. Why? It's the same concept that always happens to a brand that doesn't innovate. Okay, we see this with social media platforms also. When it becomes a huge viral success and then you see it everywhere, there's a sort of anti-movement that happens with typically the younger generation where they see it on everybody. It's a huge trend and people don't like to be trendy. The younger generation likes to be unique and different. And so we're starting to see the shift away from Hey Dude Shoes because, well, our grandpas are wearing them. And that's why. So what do brands have to do? Nike does it. All of the biggest brands do it. They constantly reinvent themselves to stay relevant to the younger generation. And now Hey Dude Shoes is attempting to do that. How? By bringing in big time social influencers that have a large following of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And that person is Sydney Sweeney. She's an actress. She's got 21 million plus followers on social. And she is somebody who has influence in the younger generation. So they're bringing her on to be a part of a new kind of revitalization campaign to try to make Hey Dude cool again. And the specific focus is on the comfort because honestly, if you haven't worn a pair of Hey Dude shoes, you are missing out. It's just like Crocs, which happens to be the company that bought them, but Crocs has stayed true and lasted the test of time through different private equity acquisitions because they've got a great product. And as long as you can match that quality with the audience that is making purchasing decisions, you can last generation after generation after generation. And hopefully Hey Dude can do the same thing. They're actually bringing in Terrence Riley, who is the person who helped revitalize Crocs in the first place. So let's see how it works. I'm rooting for you, Hey Dude. All right, next, the US Open is upon us, and it is bigger than ever. They're expecting 200,000 people at the Fan Week, which is basically before the event, and last year was about 800,000 at the actual event, and they're planning on clearing that coveted 1 million visitor and attendee mark, which they've been shooting for. So it's growing. Tennis is growing. It's expanding. It is not an elitist sport anymore. It's accessible. All you need is a racket, a ball, and a court. And there's lots of public courts all over the place. But there's also this sort of phenomenon because it's still a premium sport. So you have golf, right? Golf is a premium sport, but it's expensive. You need golf clubs, and they're hundreds or thousands of dollars. And you need to pay to go onto the course, which is more money, right? The difference with tennis is even though it has the same elevated perspective or brand rather, it's highly accessible. And with the growth of pickleball, it's related to tennis. And so the interest in tennis is even more. So it has this premium experience and expectation and community, yet it's still highly accessible. And that's the reason why it's growing. So what does this mean for marketing and brands? Well, there's a few lessons we can pull out of the US Open. Number one is activations, brand activations. Just like every other huge sporting event, whether it's the Super Bowl or one of the Opens in golf or Formula One racing, Indy 500, you name it. These come along with huge brand activations and huge opportunities. And particularly the finance industry is capitalizing on the US Open because, well, with a premium sport, with a premium brand, there's people with money. And finance, whether it's banks, like Amex, which is one of the major sponsors of the US Open, or even JP Morgan Chase, which can't advertise because of conflicts of interest, meaning they have a conflict of interest with a company like Amex, they're still capitalizing. And so it's super interesting for a brand, whether you're huge and you're able to afford sponsoring the US Open, or if you're smaller and you're just trying to come up with strategies for activations. Here's what you can do. Number one, Amex is a leading sponsor. Grey Goose is a leading sponsor, 18 years in a row. There's value in that association with such a premium experience. And so you can find your own business, you can find an event that has all of your customers and your target audience in it, and align yourself, possibly even sponsor, and come up with really unique experiences. For instance, Grey Goose, which is, I mentioned, 18 years in running being a sponsor of the US Open, has a signature cocktail called the Honey Deuce, right? And that's the signature cocktail of the US Open. They've partnered with Frances Tiafoe, one of the more fashion-forward tennis stars, to kind of tap into the fashion audience, the fashion-interested audience, aligning it with the US Open viewership, and then adding their own little spice into it. Because again, it's Grey Goose. They're vodka. It's a premium vodka. They're tapping into the different interests of the audience of the US Open and aligning it in this sort of full circle campaign. And so all they're doing is they're promoting social media posts that are highlighting the tennis star's fashion choices and how he designs his different, how he selects his different fashion statements and outfits. And they're lining it into something that is super engaging, right? Fashion on the internet, events like this. It's working so well. And it worked last year. They saw something like a 23% increase in searches on search engines for US Open inspired fashion or inspired outfits, right? So people are engaged and influenced by not only tennis outfits of the actual tennis players themselves on the court, but also off the court. And so it's natural that Grey Goose, an excellent brand, did their research, saw that people are searching for fashion related to the US Open, and they're tapping into that. So again, what you can learn from the US Open is activate and engage and make sure you're paying attention to trends, because you can tap into them. You can tap into the thing that people are talking about, aka the US Open. As a brand, you can even tap into the trends that are happening around the US Open. I mentioned earlier JP Morgan Chase. They can't actually advertise at the US Open, but what they're doing is they're wrapping trains and buses in and around New York City, around the area. And so they're still getting the visibility of people coming in, the 1 million people coming in for the event. So if you're a brand, you can either sponsor the event and come up with really cool activations like Grey Goose, or you can tap into the virality of the event and surrounding areas or on social like a JP Morgan Chase. Okay, next. The White House is officially on LinkedIn and they are going hard. Why? Because, as I've been saying, LinkedIn is the next IT platform. Hear me out. All right, so our world is going from a 9-to-5 work culture to a solopreneur, freelancer, start your own business, buy a boring business type world. If you look on social media and you're anywhere near any sort of professional community, whatever your job is, whatever your industry is, there's somebody talking about it on LinkedIn and Twitter and probably Instagram and YouTube and every other platform as well. We're shifting into this freelance creator economy. There's so many opportunities to make millions of dollars by yourself or starting your own business. And so when that happens, people start looking for opportunities to grow their brand and their business and talk about it and build a community. And LinkedIn is the OG at business community. And what they're doing, it's taken them a very long time, but what they're doing is they're starting to become a more modern platform. They're starting to follow the Instagrams and the TikToks and the YouTube of the world. The problem is they're owned by Microsoft, so everything takes a long time. But they are starting to do it. They're introducing vertical video. More people than ever are getting onto LinkedIn. More people than ever are posting on LinkedIn and engaging on LinkedIn. And so it's natural that the White House is seeing the value in that and starting to go all in. Also, LinkedIn is a huge opportunity for you as a person and you as a business. Even if you're in a consumer business, an e-commerce, a direct-to-consumer business, LinkedIn is great. Why? Because saturation is not there yet. The saturation that you see on LinkedIn is content creators or professionals that are posting about tips and tricks to do your job better, which isn't even saturated because we're always looking for ways to do our job better. But unlike an Instagram or an X or a YouTube that has gotten a lot of attention over the years, LinkedIn is not there yet. And they're aligning their algorithmic changes, meaning they're making it easier to create and better to engage every single month. They're rolling out new features and new opportunities. And so if you're a brand, whether you're a B2B company, you're probably already on there if you're a B2B company. But if you're a D2C or an e-com company, seriously take a look at LinkedIn and talk about the behind the scenes of your business. Talk about the product development. Talk about the customers and how you're acquiring them. Talk about all the stuff about running your actual business. And not only will you crush it with being able to develop professional partnerships and hire people, but you'll also sell a lot of products just from the halo effect, meaning people are just going to see what's going on in your business. They're going to be attracted to it. They're going to feel like they know your business, and they're going to feel a sense of responsibility to support you. This even goes for large companies. So take my advice now, look at LinkedIn and invest in creating content and engaging on it. You won't be sorry in 12 months. All right, last one I'm going to leave you with, and this one is awesome. I'm a huge marketing strategy nerd. I'm a total geek. And I literally get goosebumps when I see an awesome marketing strategy. And Pizza Hut is doing something amazing in the UAE. They're actually giving people free pizzas for creating content. Yes, that's right. You can buy a pizza with content on social. And so what you have to do is you have to go order a pizza using a certain portal, and then you create a TikTok video that hashtags a certain trend. You can pick whatever trend you want, but you pick a trend and you create a TikTok video using it, and then they will give you a free pizza. It's genius. Why? Because they don't have to worry about selling one or two pizzas more, right? Like getting one or two more pizzas, and they'd be spending that money on advertising anyway. So now why not give away the product for free? Let people create content that is going to build your brand and make more people see all of the awesome content aligning with your brand, and chalk that up as a marketing expense. So instead of spending $5 million on this big brand campaign, just give away your product for free and let the millions of people that want those free pizzas create your marketing for you. It's a win-win-win. I absolutely love it, and I think you can learn so much from this. If you're selling a product, especially if it's a lower cost product, give it away for free. Make people create a little bit of content to get more of it for free, and then use that content in your own marketing and your own advertising. Again, win-win-win, right? It's a win for them. It's a win for you. And it's a win for the people who may be your future customers because they're seeing the value of your product organically through people that they trust, thus bringing in more customers. And you could even use the content on your own paid media if you want a little bit of an extra boost. So kudos to you, Pizza Hut. Good job. And that's it. I'll see you next time.